Hello. Do you know what time it is? It is Wednesday. Ow! That means it's time for one off. Okay. Stay. I hope it stays. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy John. I'm back at it again with another one-off. And today, have you ever had a dream where you could do anything? Yeah, I'll explain that after. But let's get into the one-off.
The Caves of Essence, The Queen's Blade. Written by Jonathan Howe. Read to you by Brooklyn Howe. The pair walked quietly through the caverns, stepping carefully on the rocky path. The only light emanated from the stream to their right. The glowing liquid was their reason for being here. "I think the next pool is just up ahead," Gray called back to Lana. She nodded, still looking generally down. Slipping into the stream was not an option, and Lana wasn't known for her sure footing. Gray led the way in the uncharted cavern, paving the way with his agile steps. A minute longer, and the narrow path spread out. The dim glow strengthened, turning into a bright light. Gray and Lana stepped carefully around its source until the path widened into a bank. The glowing pool before them fixated the pair, light reflecting off their eyes. In the center of the large cave sat a swirling pool of iridescent dust. It stretched across 50 feet, a pretty large pool. "My turn," Lana called out. Gray didn't argue. It was her turn. They walked next to the edge of the cave, unslung their backpacks, and began setting up. Gray took a drill to the stone wall, making an anchor hole for the automatic winch. Lana put on her harness, making sure all the straps were snug. "Place your bets," she said carefully. Gray eyed the pool thoughtfully, unpacking his defense sentry. 12, he said confidently. "No way," Lana balked. 9 at most. "We'll see," Gray shrugged. He finished the sentry, pulled out his handgun, and sat down. He placed himself next to the winch, his back to the wall. Lana rolled her eyes, clipping her harness to the winch. "Pull me out after 10 minutes no matter what," she said. Gray nodded. Lana turned to the glowing, swirling pool. She pulled out a reality anchor, a small metal device that was attached to her harness by the carabiner. She clipped it on, then walked into the pool. Essence diving was a unique experience. If you've ever swam in aerated sand, it feels like that to start. However, once you plunge under the surface, your senses jumble up. For a brief time, Lana tasted colors, felt visions, smelled sounds, and every jumble of other mixed-up sensory combinations. After what felt like an eternity and an instant simultaneously, the taste of light faded from Lana's mouth. She blinked for a moment to give her eyes time to adjust. She looked around her surroundings, body tense. She was in a small wooden room. It looked some kind of medieval, but she wasn't sure. Essence didn't always match the actual world, but it did take cues from reality. Lana sat up out of the bed she formed in, moving to the door. "Wait," she thought, looking down. Good thing, too. Lana was entirely naked. You'd think that would be something a person noticed immediately, but her senses still felt scrambled after essence diving. The first few times she'd walked around naked for a few minutes before the chill of bearskin registered. Not like it matters, she thought, as she searched through the closet for an outfit. Whatever story this is, they need better fashion. She donned a draping article of clothing that resembled a pair of baggy cargo pants, except it was a whole dress. It bunched in all the wrong places and was not flattering in the least. Nevertheless, she had clothes and could go explore. Out of the room was a half-circle hallway full of young women. "Lana!" a voice called. She turned to find a young woman with tan skin and dark hair, wearing nothing but a small skirt. Her skin was tattooed with bright, colorful flowers. She gave Lana a confused look. "Why are you in your protective gear?" That explains why it wasn't flattering, Lana thought. "A slip of the mind," she explained. "I thought that was today." It was a response Gray taught her in the beginning of their travels. It often helped get info from the world. No, harvesting is tomorrow, the young woman explained. Lana walked back into the room and found a similar outfit to her apparent friend. At first it had been odd wearing clothes that clashed with her culture's idea of modesty, but Gray's method of thinking helped. Just think of it like some kind of video game. It's not really your body. It's a character that you're controlling. That mentality helped in worlds like this, or in places where Lana's gender got twisted. Wearing a much more revealing, but also much more flattering outfit, Lana exited her room. The same tattooed friend waited for her. "Sorry, Pyrrha," Lana said. Another note about essence diving is that entering the world gave you a base level of knowledge, explaining why she suddenly remembered Pyrrha's name. They walked around the hallway, reaching a door that led out to the common area. Lana immediately understood why the outfits were skimpy. The common area opened up to the sky, and it was hot. Really, really hot. Pyrrha's flowers made sense. Stretching out above them, giving wonderful patches of shade, were giant flowers. Lana stood to admire the beauty for a second, but Pyrrha grabbed her, dragging them into the shade. "Do you wish to burn?" Pyrrha scolded. Lana blushed. "The flowers are just so beautiful." "Sages above," Pyrrha groaned. "Your attitude never ceases to astound me." Lana shook out of her awe for a moment. "How many sages are above?" she asked pointedly. Pyrrha gave her a weird look. 7 dualities, of course. "So 14. Pyrrha nodded hesitantly. Lana swore quietly. Gray was probably closer to the truth. The amount of recoverable artifacts was often correlated to the number of legends in each pool of essence. That being said, this pool's notion of dualities, pairs of sages, might give Lana's guess the edge. Lana walked with Pyrrha to a large grassy patch under the flower where a large group of men and women sat. Upon seeing her first male in this essence, she understood the lack of tops. Aside from the heat, the men also had enlarged pectorals. Maybe to store water, Lana thought. Either way, female and male chests were much more similar in this world than in reality. "What do we do today?" Lana asked. Pyrrha shrugged. "Between harvestings, there isn't much we need to do," she explained. They joined the group, getting a meal passed their way. "What danger should we watch out for?" Lana pressed. Essence was never boring, which meant she needed to be ready for an encounter. "Well, giants have been spotted in the region," Pyrrha said nervously, "but the village elder said we didn't have to worry." Lana held up a hand, stopping Pyrrha. As if on cue, the screaming began. Lana stood and searched for the source of the noise. The shouting came from outside their building. They could also feel the ground shake as something moved their way. People all over ran for cover, but Lana dashed towards the exit to the rest of the village. "Lana, wait!" Pyrrha called. Lana ignored her, running directly into the sun. It was really, really, really hot. Lana could feel some level of pain, the same type of pain you felt in a dream. Something told her this was supposed to hurt, but she wasn't truly affected. Outside the building, and out from under the flowers, Lana could see the giants. Enormous, titanic goats towered over them. On the sides of the creatures appeared to be structures where people waited. "War vehicles!" Lana cried out. "They're here to eat the shade!" The terror around her grew. Lana looked for a defensive force. There wasn't any. "Of course," she muttered. Lana reached up to her chest, where she knew the reality anchor was clipped to her harness. She felt something form in her hand. Lana pulled her hand away, holding a glittering black rapier. Out of her back sprouted buzzing insect wings. Across her skin, yellow and black lines spread out. "A little heavy-handed with the bee people idea, don't you think?" Lana commented to no one in particular. She took to the skies, streaking towards the eye of the nearest giant. The people and buildings on its sides tried to shoot her out of the air with some kind of projectile, but she evaded them easily. Lana plunged the black rapier into the goat's eye. The creature bleated, a loud, echoing roar that vibrated the air around Lana. It swung its head, flinging her back into the sky. Lana flipped over and over, coming to a slow stop hundreds of meters up. Below her, one man climbed to the top of the goat. He had 4 arms, green skin, and 4 unique daggers, one in each hand. "Wielder of the Queen's blade!" the man cried out. "Fight me!" The Queen's blade, she thought, looking down to the rapier in her hand. Again, heavy-handed, but I'll take it. She studied the other man. Upon closer inspection, his 4 daggers looked like they could combine into one big sword. "Springblade," she whispered. "One of the 15 legendary weapons." Lana groaned at the realization. The world had fed her information, which was good, but it meant Gray won their bet. He was closer. Angry at this, Lana flew in toward the man, blade ready. A tug at the base of her spine yanked Lana's sense into chaos. Once again, she seemed to be experiencing sensory input in every way imaginable. Lana's head broke the surface and she gasped for air. The winch pulled her back up to the bank, where Gray sat expectantly. "Do you know how many there are?" he asked. "At least 15, she admitted. "Woo!" Gray cheered. Lana rolled her eyes. "Anything else I should know?" "It's really hot, all the guys have water boobs, and there are colossal goats, and the weapons give us bug abilities." "Back up," Gray said. "Will my boobs be made of water, or store water like camel's humps?" "The second one," Lana answered. "Good," Gray said. "I've had the first before, and it really just gets annoying after a while." The pair laughed. Together they set up camp, readying themselves for the true plunge.
Yeah, we're back. Okay, first of all, first things first. Did that narrator sound like super hot? Because, I don't know, I mean, I think whoever they were, they sounded like really hot. I don't know, anyway, second off, yeah, so the entire, this is going to become a recurring series for me because it kind of fits with this. Okay, I had a dream the other day. I don't know about you guys, my dreams are wild, like vivid, they're super descriptive. Like I can get some storylines. The way I think of it is like my dreams will be like a big old block of stone, and I look at it and I go like, I can see something out of this, but there's a lot of chiseling that I need to do to form like a cohesive piece of art. That's the same thing like that when I'm writing these things. My dreams can be neat, but also they're wild like dreams are. And so that's kind of what this series is, the Caves of Essence. It came from a dream, from this idea. I had this dream where I was like going through some cavern temple doodad, and like in one room was a certain like swirling pool of reality that I was kind of like, yo, if I dive down there, I could go into that kind of set of mythology and stuff and that story pretty much, and it will let me like I can get stuff from that, but then also the monsters I fight in there will be this level versus the monsters I fight, and you know, kind of explore the lore. But then in and of themselves, because it was in a dream, if you kind of go into them, it's just wild. That's why Lana is going in and like she just knows some things that she shouldn't necessarily know, because it kind of runs on dream logic where you pop in and you aren't actually learning. If I were doing this full dream, there would have been so much less exposition. Because like that happens in dreams. Remember when she's like, they're here to eat the shade? Like you've had a dream like that before where you just say something where you're like, oh, that's what's happening, and it just makes sense to you. So yeah, I'm gonna use it. I think it's really fun. I will hopefully do enough work to make sure that they are cohesive stories that make sense. But either way, great job, Brooklyn. It was 10 out of 10 quality reading. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next week for another one-off. Okay, bye.